All right, we are live on Facebook. All right, I think we're good.
All right, let's get it.
I
Let's
think we're
go.
good. Setting up your meeting for Facebook Live. Meeting is now streaming live on Facebook. All right, let me know if you see it in your timeline. You can share it.
Yeah, I'm looking right now. Yeah, I see you.
All right.
Yep. Good. Share this thing. Couple
Right. There we go. That's crazy. All right, so we got it going. I can see my. I got to get another monitor, man.
Oh wow.
all this technology. I got the Zoom taking up the whole screen, and then I got my Facebook on a small window. I need another monitor anyway, man. It just makes it easier, man. When you got all these windows and everything.
Yeah.
All right, we good. All right. So if you are watching this on Instagram, let me know that you are watching by logging into the comments. I'm gonna go ahead and put the Black Males Man Cave in the notes.
Let's go. Tune in. Tune in. It's time.
All right, here we go at the Black Males Man Cave. I hope I wrote that right on Instagram. All right, so we are live on Facebook. Always like to give it a few minutes, man, once that live feed gets going, give people a little bit of time.
Yeah, tune in. We about to talk that good wealth talk.
All right, there we go. Look, everything jumping. All right. Yeah, I gotta get like you, man. You be crushing that inbox, dog.
Oh yeah. That's what I do. That's what I do. I be sharing that joker everywhere, man. Oh yeah.
We got some folks logging on. No, I ain't mad at you, man.
Yeah, got to.
All right, perfect. So I'm gonna make my Facebook window a little bit smaller. I don't really need that, so I can see. Okay. All right, cool. We good to go. All right, so we got a couple people logging on. Thank you if you're watching on Instagram. Thank you if you're watching on Facebook. Today we are having a conversation. We're having a conversation leading up to the main event on Saturday. On Saturday, the main event. So I'll do a quick announcement about that. We'll circle back on that just in case we got some people who can't stay on, for the full time. But this Saturday, the Black Males Man Cave is hosting a virtual event. That's Saturday, August 1st at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The name of the event is The Principles of Black Financial Freedom. Right? The Principles of Black Financial Freedom. We got a lot of people in store who are going to be talking. I'll be talking. We got Devoe talking. I'll introduce Devoe in a second. We got some Forex traders. We got some financial advisors. We got business coaches. We got personal credit.
Yeah.
We got a little bit of everything to, give y'all some knowledge and some information, man, around wealth building, economic independence, the pursuit of financial freedom, and all that good stuff, man. So I'm looking forward to Saturday. Make sure you register. You can register at thebmm.org. You could also log on via Facebook Live. We'll be going live on Facebook and Zoom. But make sure you mark your calendars for Saturday, August 1st at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Did I miss anything?
Nah, man, you killed it, bro. You killed it, man. Tune in. Let's go.
Perfect. All right, man. So I'm going to do a quick little introduction, man, and then I'm gonna let you talk to the people.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm excited, man.
Okay. So we got Devoe Sherman on. Devoe is the founder of the Black Males Man Cave. He's also a business coach, amongst many other things. Hopefully my brother will shed some light on all of the work that he's doing and that he has been doing. Really impressed by Devoe, man, and all of the work that he puts in. In real life, man, you have to notice when people are working, man, and you got to appreciate the work that people are putting in to make a difference, not only in their life, but in the lives of others. And Devoe is definitely one of those dudes, man, that has been putting in a lot of work, and definitely happy to have you on officially, man. You're actually on the, yes, sir, man. This is actually one of the very early editions of the Wealth Checkup, man. The Wealth Checkup is a show that, just a show idea that I came up with, man. And the idea is really just to give people the knowledge and the information, especially making that journey from the bottom of the economic scale, trying to get to the top, man, and trying to reach that, that financial freedom and everything that we're talking about, man. So I appreciate you for being on one of the early episodes, man. It's going to be an illustrious list of individuals, man, and you have started that off, man. So welcome.
Hey, legacy in motion, baby.
Yes, sir. Every day, man. Every day. Every day. All right. So Devoe, man, not only is he the founder of the BMM and also a business coach, he's a graduate of Woodward High School, Cincinnati, class of 2012. He's also from Cincinnati, studied political science and liberal arts at the University of Cincinnati. And being born and raised in Cincinnati, his focus is to give back, and working with the city, he has a vision for constructing a plan that everyone can live in harmony. Devoe says, my involvement in the church has made me a better person with better character. He's driven to implement programs for students who need guidance, and this stems from his time in high school. While attending Woodward, he started to think about how to help the students graduate on time and begin their future careers consistently. He is known as the electrified speaker, is one of Cincinnati's premier millennial entrepreneurs, and a true poverty to success story. He has built his career in a variety of roles and industries, mostly in small companies, where he is the gatekeeper, business consultant, blogger, and community organizer. In his 24 years, maybe a little more now, 24 years of life, he has experienced many heartbreaks and joys, and has learned what it takes to hustle through tumultuous storms. Man, we got to have a conversation about that. Woo! He's a thriving businessman who believes in elevating success and making a positive impact in the community. Let's give a round of applause for Devoe Sherman.
Yeah, that was good, man. That was good, man. Hey, that bio sound good, don't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I was like, dang, that sounds good. Okay.
Yes, sir. So tell us, man, tell us a little bit about yourself, man, that we may not know. Tell us about the BML, man, and, how we got to the BML, and we'll get started from there.
Yeah, man, I'd like to start off saying, man, I bleed blue. And what do I mean by that? I come from Woodward, graduate of Woodward. And it's kind of like my life is kind of like being in that cage. And when you let the bulldog out, it's on. It's on and popping. So the adversity that I went through, and my mom raised me at the age of 14, having me at that age, and really just being born with nothing. And that's where I come from. And I'm just really inspired to, teach people about the shit they don't teach you, the shit they don't want you to know. And it's just so crazy, man. I remember being in college, and I was just like, man, this is just a whole different world from when I was in high school. Like, it was just, the environment was just so completely different. Like, everybody talking about, generational wealth, building legacies for their family, everybody hustling and grinding. And it was just, the whole environment just really just changed my mindset, man. Cause like, I wasn't one of those dudes, man, that, wanted to be on the corner and wanted to hustle, because I mean, although I was that fly on the wall, like, I was there when people were, doing their thing. But at the same time, when I looked and seen like what people were going through, I'm like, man, I don't want my life to be like that. I don't want to be watching, like, looking and seeing who's over my back and seeing who's gonna do something to me or my family. Like, I wasn't the type of guy that wanted that lifestyle. I wanted something different, something more. But I think really when I went to college, man, it really opened my eyes to a lot of different things, like just being around people that was smarter than me, like, doctors, lawyers, different, professors. Like, hey, I want to learn from y'all. Like, I want to learn everything that I can, because I'm literally trying to get myself out of this rat hole. Like, I need to get loose. Like, let me go. Like, and I think, man, once they let my mind like out the cage, I was ready. And that's when I really got the inspiration to just start doing things, man. Start taking a risk. Like, hey, you know, I ain't hurt nobody. You feel me? So why not, just jump off the porch and see what happens. And I think that's part of that's been a part of my personality, just been able to take initiative just with a lot of different things. And hopefully, I jump out the plane and I build one on the way down. I think that's the whole life of just being an entrepreneur and just my personality and just trying to see what works. Mm-hmm. And, that's me in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Nah, I love it, man. I love it. I love the realness and the rawness, man. Absolutely. Love
Appreciate
it. Yeah, no, absolutely, man. So quick question, man. So how did you actually make that? What was that story like going from high school to college? Like what made you want to go to college, or, was it something like you were like, yo, I got to go to college? Was it a counselor that helped you? Like, how did you actually transition from, high school mindset, being in the cage at Woolworth, knowing that you wanted something different, and then, matriculating to the University of Cincinnati?
Yeah, I say this, when you see like that, for me, it was like, okay, there's no way out. But what if I try something different, right? Because I think I'm probably one of the few people, probably like maybe the third person in my family that went to college. Mm. And it was maybe the fourth. And I was just looking like, man, what if I took the risk and stepped out on faith and actually, did something different than what everybody else was doing? Like, what if I just tried it and seen what happened? And that's what I did. Like, I don't think, I had like maybe a few people encourage me, but at the same time, it was more just me really motivating myself and like, man, just do it and see what happens. And like I said, man, it really became a movement for me. Like, and it, like I said, I feel like it just saved my life, man. Cause just when you in a neighborhood and you ain't got like nobody that can show you the way, that can guide you in the right direction, you just out there with God. Like, hey, hopefully I don't get shot, I don't get killed, and I don't make the wrong decision. Hopefully I don't. But at the same time, it's about having, mental fortitude and being resilient to the, the adversity that's out there and the people that's out there that's going that wants you to do the wrong thing, you know what I mean? And they not really telling you to their face, but behind closed doors, they saying, man, I hope he fail, and I kind of when I look at things like that, man, it always takes me back to my mom. Like, I remember when she always used to tell me, man, like, I honestly, man, I thought it was just like gas, like, she just saying that, but it was like real life when she was having me, man. It was real life people in my family was just telling her like to abort the mission. Mm. And just feeding her mind with just negativity, like, man, you ain't gonna make it. You are him. Like, just abort the mission. You too young. You too this. You too that. And just to like when I look back at that, I'm like, Dad, like if we can make it out of that, you feel me? If we can make it out of that hospital alive, well, healthy, like I feel like I can make it through anything, bro. Like for real, like I can make it through anything. And I never understood why she told me that. I'm like, why is she telling me this? Like, when you're a kid, man, your people, they tell you stuff, but you just ignore it. You don't really pay attention to it. But when I really started to pay attention, I'm like, dang, this stuff she's saying is like some real stuff that I need to take heed to. And I think that's what elevated my mind and took my whole personality, everything, all my thinking, like it just took it to a whole different level. And that's when I just started doing stuff, man. I'm like, hey, I got to try this. I'm going to try that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And, hopefully the shit works. And that's what happens.
I love it. Nah, man, you said some interesting stuff, man. So you had a little girl before me. I just had, my first child. Yeah. So actually going through that experience of childbirth and seeing, how delicate that actually is and how challenging that can be for a grown adult, let alone a 14-year-old who's bringing a child into this world. There's so many different things that can go wrong. There's so many emotional challenges, physical challenges, et cetera, et cetera. So saying like, if we could make it out of the hospital, if we could make it through the birth and out of the hospital, I can make it through anything. That's an early light bulb that goes on, man, and it's empowering. It certainly is empowering. As she's running around.
Yeah, she messing with me right now.
Yeah, it's all good, man. So based on, man, just your life experience and the background you come from, and I'm sure a lot of people that you grew up with, just kind of seeing what their life trajectory has been. Kind of give us how did you land on the BMM, and tell us what the BMM is about. Give us an idea of some of the things that you've been doing with the BMM, and that's your baby, man. So let
Yeah.
us know.
Yeah, man, the BML, how I came across it is so I founded this other organization called First Generation Leaders of America. We go inside schools and we really help support teachers. We kind of like I wouldn't want to say like a middleman. We act as mentors and as teachers, and we kind of go in and provide like social and emotional support. But the other thing is we provide that culturally relevant curriculum that shows them like, okay, yes, it's okay to deal with your emotions as a man, but what does that look like for a kid that looked like me? You know what I mean? And we were speaking to them from that type of level, like, look, we get it. And a lot of them think like, man, you ain't from the hood, you ain't this, you ain't that. And I'm like, what? Like, bro, check my rap shit, man. I came from Woodward, man. Come on. But it's like the thing. It was so insightful because they said they never really seen like a black positive male that came from nothing and that's dressing like this, but still talking the way that they talk and still moving the way that they move. And I told them like, man, it's just really all about leveling up and just putting your mind on the different frequencies and just telling yourself like, look, I can do this thing. So I think I seen a lot of young men from an emotional standpoint, like go through a tough time because they didn't express their emotions clearly, like they didn't know how to do it. And that's the same thing for me. Like I didn't know how to express my emotions the right way. It came out, a bad way, but I mean, at the same time, it was genuine, but maybe it just wasn't the right way. And I wasn't clear on how I communicated my emotions to certain people or maybe to everyone. But at the same time, I wasn't taught how to, you know, unravel my emotions to where it didn't affect people on a large scale. And I think that's a lot of times that happens with a lot of young black males. Like they don't know how to cope and deal with situations that may arise, and they don't have no one to lean on or no ear to listen to. And so for me, it was like, yes, I'm doing this mentoring and stuff like that, but the biggest problem that I notice is our young black men, they have no word to express themselves. There's no space, right? And the spaces that they do have, they feel like they have to live with that double consciousness of being like, okay, do I act white in this space or do I switch it? You know what I mean? Like, how do I? And the thing is, like with many young men, I had those conversations. Like, no, it's really not about acting white. It's more about being yourself. But at the same time, it's about being clear about what you're trying to communicate. And I think a lot of times, like when we were talking, they just didn't feel, it just wasn't a good feeling, because they never did it. Like, when they was young, you try to do it to your parents and they just kind of like just flag you off like, we hear you, but we ain't really listening. And that's what really sparked it, man. I think it took me, I had this idea several years ago. It took me several years to kind of get it to where it is now, because I always had the idea. But I think from starting the organization, I planted the seed, and I'm looking like, you know what, maybe I feel like it's time for me to do this thing. Because not only the young men need it, but people in my generation, people in your generation, they need it as well. Like black men need spaces to where they can be themselves and they can express and they can just, heal and just reclaim parts of themselves and just without being oppressed or without feeling bad about saying something, like without just being judged. Like I love when we have our spaces, like we can just talk our shit and just be cool. We don't have to worry about nobody saying nothing bad, no negativity, nothing. Like we can literally show our sadness about the killings of another Black person without being like indicted, like without getting an indictment and having that feeling like, oh well, I just told, I just went to work and told my my colleagues and they wasn't feeling what I was saying. Well, in the man cave, you can say how you feel, like, and that's just what it is. And we're not gonna stereotype it. We're not gonna judge you. We gonna make fun. We gonna talk our talk, but at the same time, we gonna help you heal, and we gonna help you go through those emotions that you've been going through. And like I said, man, it's just been, man, it's been I'm just losing the words, man. It's just been so fulfilling for Black men to actually come together and talk about what we have going on from an internal and external standpoint. So it's been rewarding.
Nice, nice. Now, you have something for the women too, don't you?
Yeah, we we have the Black Women's Alliance.
Okay.
And that stemmed from just like the women, man. They were just a lot of Black women. They were coming up to me like, man, like, hey, can y'all do the same thing? Like, we love how y'all move. We love how y'all dress, and we just love the whole vibe, and we want something like that, because a lot of women were saying like, man, there's a lot of cliquish groups and all that, and I feel like, in these other groups, we can't be ourselves and this and that. They were coming to me like, how did you do it? Can you do something like? I'm like, I thought about it, but I'm like, I'm not a woman though. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what y'all. I know what y'all go to from an external standpoint, but not from an internal. Like, I don't know, what exactly y'all going through. So I'm really not the person you should go to. But I think some of the women, they understood. They loved how I did it. They loved the structure. You use your chair and get it. Use your chair. They loved the structure of how I formulated the cave, and they wanted something similar to what we were doing. Like, they wanted everything. They wanted the same thing. So I'm like, yeah, I created, but I'm not going to be 100%, involved into it, because I don't, that's y'all thing. We got our space, y'all got y'all's, but we can still come together on, joint events, and we can still do things together. But yeah, so I am the founder of that organization as well, but I'm not like heavily involved or anything like that. So
I love it. No, I love it. And that's one of the things that I like too. And let's touch on that really quickly, was the I guess the qualifications for admittance to the organization, right? When you talk about you talk about groups, whether it be Black groups, especially Black groups. When we talk about the groups that are in a community, a lot of times there are some barriers to entry where good people can't get in, right? We'll leave it good at that. Good people can't get in. Now, for your organization, the BMM, as well as the Black Women's Alliance, just what are some of the things that you look for to ideally in someone who wants to be a member?
Yeah, so one of the things is being open, like having an open mindset, because what we're doing is, I feel like, is really unheard of, because we're trying to help the whole man. So I'm talking about from a health, from a wellness standpoint, financially, socially, physically, mentally, all the things above, the whole man, the whole 360 degrees. And for you to enter the BMM, you have to want to get your credit together. You have to want to get some type of real estate. You have to want to invest in yourself. You can't be complaining about racism and you don't even own anything, but you're talking about racism. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like talks like that, we can talk about it, but actually let's put some work into it. Like, right now, I always tell them, what can you do? What do you think you can do for yourself right now? Because we can sit up here and talk about racism, oppression, and white supremacy for hours. We can talk about that, but let's talk about actually acquiring real estate. Let's talk about investing into a company. Let's talk about owning stocks and bonds and mutual funds. Let's have those wealth conversations. Let's talk about being the leader of your last name. Like, let's talk about building legacies. You know what I mean? Like, let's actually talk about things that are going to help our family. Let's talk about getting life insurance. You know what I mean? Like, let's actually have those conversations. And I tell them, like, you have to be open to having those conversations, because if you're not, then you're not being material. Because again, we're trying to help the whole man. So if you're not trying to get yourself together, then this is not the organization for you. And I tell people that we want to make it exclusive because we know everybody is not BMM material. And I understand that. But we're going to continuously and consistently help those who want to be helped. And that's what I preach before anybody comes on board and different things like that. Like, I literally vet every single member that comes on board, and I explain our process and our procedures and different things like that, because I don't want people to come in to where like they feel blindsided, like you ain't tell me all that. Like, no, we're gonna tell you up front, this is what it is. And if you don't want to roll with our culture and what we're trying to do, then like I said, that's fine. Maybe there's an organization out there for you that you can just be a part of, and you can be BS, and you can complain and mourn and all that. Like, maybe there's something out there for you. But to me, I don't think there is. So that's what I tell people all the time. But like, if you're honestly, man, I tell you, we done had so many men in my group that's been honest about their situations, and we were able to help them, whether it become a job, resume, or, them improving their credit, like, or them just learning about real estate, learning about, any and everything when it comes to building financial wealth. Like, people been open, like, look, man, I ain't got the money to invest in this, but I do, but how can I get the money? How can I get that second, third income stream? Teach me. Like, those are the type of people we're looking for. Those who are willing to be honest about their situation, and who's not trying to keep all their information confidential. Because if you keep it to a point to where you don't want to express about what's going on, then how the hell can we help you? You know what I mean? Like, just be real and honest about who you are and what you're trying to do, and we will give you the resources that you need. Like, and that's honestly, man, that's all that it is. It's really, to me, it's really simple. It's really about us getting all on one accord. Like, and some of us even invested in our first real estate project, which I was proud of, but not everybody was on board, but that's fine. But it's like, the people who were on board, they understand, like, okay, this is what we're trying to do. And it was a trap. And they told me, like, man, I ain't never invest with other black men, especially some black men I don't know. I'm like, brother, this is the start of something great. You feel me? Like, this is the start. So why wait? Do it now. Take the risk. And that's what we got to be willing to do. And until we take the risk, until we have those conversations of ownership about building wealth and us in doing things for us, by us, then we're not going to get ahead. But like I tell them, we got to continue to have these conversations, because we can sit up there and talk about the white man all day and about America and how they treated us. We can do that all day. But at the end of the day, that's not doing nothing for us. Like, I know it ain't do nothing for me. Yeah. Like, one of those people, like, it ain't do nothing for me at all. Nothing. Yeah. But you know what I mean? Just have me sitting around mourning, mad at the world. It ain't do nothing for me, though. I ain't getting nothing from it. So
understood. Especially this day and age, man, when there's so much opportunity.
Yeah.
So it's so much opportunity for growth and development and advancement. So let's see, it's 7:30. All right, let's transition a little bit. Tell us about some of the, we'll transition and just kind of finish up here. So tell us about some of the events that the BMM has done and that they do, and then just tell us a little bit about the event on Saturday, and we'll finish up there. How the people can reach you, how they can get in touch with you, how they can connect with you.
Okay. Yeah, I say all the events that we do are honestly tailored around our members. Although we invite the community out, because we love to have the community be a part of our, a part of our family, because we are a family-oriented organization. Once you become family, you're considered family. but we will kick your ass out if you're not on your shit. That's just what it is, you know. But at the same time, but yeah, some of the events they're really around, you know, members, you know, issues and what they're going through. And that's how the principles of Black financial freedom came upon, because, you know, when I first started out doing events, like, I feel like I was speaking Chinese to some of the members that was a part of B&M. They're like, what are you talking about? You talking about legacy, building wealth, life insurance, stocks and bonds? What are you talking about? Like, we don't understand. And I'm like, oh, what you mean you don't understand? Like, you never, like, nah, ain't nobody teach us shit. I'm like, oh, okay, well, so that's when I came up with the idea, like, okay, cool, well, we can create an event around some of the issues that y'all are having, because obviously y'all don't know nothing about building wealth, like nothing at all. And that's where the principles of Black financial freedom came upon. And it was like, and that helped so many people, man. I remember when we had our first event, I mean, completely packed, sold out. Like, you know, a lot of women came, a lot of males came, and everybody was just stunned. Like, to have an all black male platform and have Black males speaking at the event and actually have them to know what they're talking about at the same time, like just giving out free game, like, hey, this is what it is. And it was just exciting to bring that to the community. It was kind of like a breath of fresh air, like, because the community needed it. Like, man, oh man, how did you do it? Like, oh my God, like our community really needed this. And that's when I just started doing a lot more. Like, and for me, man, I'm a listener, and a lot of the events that I create, they're around like what are like real actual life problems. Like, we did an event, Is Chivalry Dead or in common? And again, that was around the notion of, you know, is chivalry dead or is it not? You know, does a man supposed to pay for every single meal when he first meets a woman? You know what I mean? Like, actually challenging societal, you know, concepts. And that's the type of person I am. Like, I'm gonna challenge every single thing that society has taught us. Like, because I feel like we have to you know, unlearn to relearn. You know, and that's kind of like the logic that the type of thinking that I've been following. Like, I'm gonna challenge every single thing. And some of the members wanted to know, like, hey, is it in common? Is it not? Like, cause some men like, hey, I don't feel like I have to pay for every single meal every time we go out. You know, I want to be treated out too. You know what I mean? So I'm like, hey, I feel you. I feel the same way. But, you know, some may differ, which is fine. You know, but we can have those conversations, you know, publicly without being ridiculed for the type of perspective that we give. And it's been a beautiful thing to just give your perspective and be done with it. And nobody is going to make you feel bad for saying that. Like, I tell them, like, you can correct somebody, but don't be judging people for what they say. Like, correct that man. Like, you don't got to correct them in public, but behind closed doors, you can correct them. Like, hey, I don't think you should have said it like that. Or maybe you should have said it like this. You know what I mean? Like, that's the type of culture that we're trying to portray. Like, throughout Cincinnati and through, I mean, we didn't reach so many different people, Mike. We didn't reach people in Miami, Louisville, Chicago, like Atlanta. Like, we didn't reach so many people. Like, man, I wish we had this in our city. I'm like, hey, you know, we don't mind coming out there doing an event, whatever. You know, y'all pay us, you know, or that. You know, hey, we don't mind doing whatever. And then, but yeah, like literally all the events really came from somebody that was having, not just somebody, but a few people that were just having issues, and they wanted it to be challenged. And on our platform, we're going to challenge, like I said, everything that society has taught us, because I feel like we've been miseducated on so much stuff. Like, and I'm like, we been miseducated on so much, and but it's fine. You know, I think we coming along, and I think, you know, it's going to get better. But those are really where the events, you know, that's where they stem from, around our members, what they needs and what they want and what they want to hear. So
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Well thought out, well planned, well executed. You can sense and feel the passion. I love the articulation. I love the straightforwardness. I love the accountability. Certainly love everything about it. All right, so we have We got an event coming up on Saturday, the Principles of Black Financial Freedom. We talked about that. That's this Saturday, August 1st at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They can register by going to the bmm.org. It's a Zoom event. It'll also be shown via Facebook. So as we end, one of the things you talked about is, the growth and the birth and growth of the BMM and how it was an idea, that you sat on for a while and how you finally started to get it going and everything. So I wanted to know, do you have any parting words for anybody who is watching this that may be sitting on an idea or has been sitting on an idea, whether it be organizational wise, business wise, life wise? Any parting words from a man of wise words and wisdom as it relates to anyone who may be just sitting on an idea, man?
I'll say this: come to the event, because we're going to teach you the shit that they don't teach you. Like, we're going to actually real life give you free gems on how to build wealth for your family with, with little money. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to have a lot of money to have ownership of a company. You don't. So as you explore, as you take time to think about, what I've been saying, really look in a mirror and look at yourself and say, hey, what am I doing today? What am I doing for my family? Because again, we can talk about how 400 years of slavery has did all this stuff to us. We can talk about that. We can have that conversation. We can do that. But let's actually look in the mirror, look at ourselves and say, hey, what can we do as of right now, as a family? What can we do? And that's what I want to leave y'all with. But also, I want you to do this. I did this one time. What I did was I went to Kev, I don't know if you ever been to the Kenwood Mall or if they, got malls out to where you're at, but I went to Kenwood Mall, and in Kenwood Mall there's a conglomerate of businesses, right? And what I noticed is inside the mall there's so many businesses that are supposed to be competitors, right? And again, you have indirect competitors, and then you may just have competitors. But anywho, the thing is, like, a lot of these businesses were competing with each other. But what I noticed is they were all next to each other, like literally. Had a chick, you know what I mean? Like, they were all next to. I'm looking like, what the hell is going on here? Like, but what I came to realize is, and then I literally walked around the mall. I seen how many businesses were next to each other. I say, damn, this shit makes sense economically. What's happening is the dollar is circulating. So you need some food, we got you. And we got a restroom. You know what I mean? We got a restroom, we got food, we got the shoes, we got clothes, we got, small bites. You know what I mean? You got the, you know what I mean? Like, everybody eating but us. Like, we're, you got teenagers there, they buying stuff with the money their parents gave them. You feel what I'm saying? Like, they coming in, buying up, the stores coming out with bags of all type of stuff. And it's like, and I had to do the math. I say, dang, that company all these companies literally just made a whole lot of money off of me. I don't care if it was $5. Somebody made some money off Devoe today. Like, and then when I came out the mall, I say, damn, why is the gas station next to the mall? And then there's a bank next to the mall, multiple. And I'm looking like, damn, well, I do need to get some gas, Devoe. You can't get no gas. You got to get some gas. You know what I mean? So it's like everybody's eating and the dollar is circulating. And the dollar is circulating. The dollar is not circulating in our community. It's circulating in other communities, right? And that dollar is going to empower their families. It's not going to empower ours, because we feel like if we go on the island, we be by ourselves, then everything will be okay. Like, no. So what I'm saying, so the message behind what I'm saying is we have to get smarter and better about doing business with each other and being close and next to each other. like they did with the Black Wall Street. Like we got to get back to the old way of thinking. Like although people may say it's traditionalized, but if you look at some of the concepts that people formulated before us, some of that stuff worked, and we got to get back to that. Like we real life got to get back to helping each other, being there for one another, being there for one another, and stop being all bougie and being on our high horse. Like we got to stop doing that. You know what I mean? Like we're not going to progress if we hold stuff in and we talk about the negative stuff that continues to go on. Like no, like let's actually help one another and get ourselves to the next level. You know, like let's stop withholding information and let's just give it away. You know, water, we shouldn't have to pay for water. Water is free, but we pay for it, but it's free. You know what I mean? Like it's free, but we still have to pay for it. So it's like some things sometimes. So what I'm saying is we sometimes, even though you don't want to do something, sometimes you have to just do it in order to ensure the community prospers, to ensure that we all grow and we all learn from this thing, because at the end of the day, we're all in this together and nobody cares about us more than we gonna care about ourselves. And if we remember that, that'll be one day that we can process, one day that we can ensure progress. And that's an everyday mentality. And that's all I got, man. That's all I got.
That's good, man. That's good. That's good. Speaking facts, man. Speaking facts. Talking about ownership, collaboration, you know, partnership, you know, joint ventures, you know, all of these words and, you know, vocabulary that's being used at the highest levels, man. We, like you said, we got to bring it back down and teach it and, you know, help educate and help, you know, empower and ultimately, man, continue to build up the community. But that's where it starts. And, you know, you're certainly doing your part, man. So thank you for putting together the event that's taking place this Saturday. You know, it's one drop in the bucket, man, but many more to come. And it's a lot of people that's being, you know, empowered, you know, by your words, man, and by your wisdom. So I appreciate you for coming on tonight. And with that, man, we'll conclude this edition of the Wealth Checkup. Again, the event, The Principles of Black Financial Freedom, is this Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We've got, I'll be speaking, Devoe will be speaking. We've got financial advisors. We've got Forex traders. We've got real estate experts. We've got business and personal credit. We got business coaches. We got a lot of information that's going to be shared. So make sure you log on.
Log on and mark your calendars. Mark your calendars. Do that right now. Don't procrastinate. Mark your calendars right now. Tune in and let's get it popping. Let's do this. Let's do this thing. Oh man, I think his computer froze. But we out, y'all. We out. All right, Kev. Appreciate you, bro. Be safe, man.